What it do, what it is, it's your boys. You already know. Hot and my wife in the back who's leaving the premises now. Happy holidays. It's Birds of a Feather. We're back. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. We were eating some turkey, watching some football. Now let's get back to it. Run that intro, Chucks.
Let's go! This ain't the Fox Night, or this game can he stink!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. There's still time to log into the promo for the Thursday night game tonight. So get in on it. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, a $50 value. Use the FanUp app. We are live, guys, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe and review, rate and review. It's your boy Chuck's here, and you've got to my left, as always, Mr. Pete Evans. How's it going, bro?
Man, it's going. As you can see, let's just get the cat out the bag right now. You can see we're a two-man show right now for the foreseeable future. Jeff had to bow out for a little bit for some not unknown reasons, but reasons that we'll keep in-house. Prayers to Jeff. Hoping to see him soon on the platform, doing what he loves to do, and that's talk birds. So, and I'll always, Chrome, you already know our hearts are with you, brother, as you deal with everything going on with you and your family. Hey, fam, just to let you know, we're human too. You know, with you guys, how you feel about us does take it. Our skin is a little thick, but obviously, you know what I mean. We all deal with shit in our life. You know what I mean. So, I think this is the time of year where we put everything in perspective. When we look at Thanksgiving and the upcoming Christmas holiday, or whatever holiday that however you celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, what have you. So this is the time of year it puts things in perspective, and we get to reflect on how thankful we are for the things that we do have in our life. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into this shit, Chucks. I mean,
we definitely will. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. I know it's been 2 weeks since our last show, so you know we weren't here on Thanksgiving. We were on the football field, playing some Thanksgiving football before we got to stuff ourselves with turkey. If you haven't checked out the footages and the pictures from our Thanksgiving football game on A2D, on the A2D crew playing some ball, check those out on my socials, Ryan's socials, A2D socials, Tom's. So they're all over the place. But we had fun. But it's been 2 weeks since we've been able to get on here, so we have a lot to talk about. The first quarter of the show, we are going to talk about the Eagles-Giants game. What a horrible loss. We are going to recap that. We're going to talk about it, get our frustrations on the table. The second quarter, we're going to talk about the division, the NFC East. How does that look for the rest of the season? How's it going to play out? Talk about that. Third quarter in the second half, we're going to go around the NFL as usual, talk about other games outside of Philly. Maybe we'll talk about the game going on tonight too. We'll talk about some other news, any of the latest news. We got some breaking news today about Antonio Brown, some other Bucs, and their safety who got suspended. So maybe we'll dive into that. In the fourth and final quarter, we will talk Eagles-Jets predictions, give our takes and predictions on the game coming up this Sunday. And, of course, we'll end the show with No Huddle. But to first let's talk about Eagles-Giants and the poll question, which is brought to you by All Campus, the home of the A2D Rant booth. They are giving 20% off everything in their store, including hats, shirts, and team cornhole sets to all their subscribers. So, our poll question: Jalen Hurts should have thrown it to DeVonta Smith instead of Jalen Reagor on the final play, agree or disagree. We've got our first quarter starting off now, and it's brought to you by EXP Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, if you're looking for a change in career or brokerage, make sure you contact Alan Foy of EXP Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. And our first comment of the evening before we get to our answers is to make sure I don't miss it. First comment brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Rob Brigman says Hurts should have thrown to grandma over Reagor, and she's been dead for 7 years. That's a pretty
very
comment.
morbid, Frank.
Very morbid comment.
Wow.
But yeah. All right, Pete. Let's get your take. Poll question. Should he have thrown that ball to Reagor? And to the listeners, I want you to go to my film breakdown, because I know it's tough to see with the broadcast angle and everything like that. It's always tough to see passing plays down the field. If you go to the A2D platforms on Facebook and Instagram, or if you hit up my YouTube channel, Chuck Moranin, go to my film breakdown, and toward the end, I show the coach's film of that final play. If you want to get an all 22 look of the play and follow along with us, that way we can talk about it, we discuss. But yeah, go to that if you want to check that out. You go to it right now. Pete, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. It's been a talk of the week following that game, is that final play. A lot of people putting their input into it. What is your input? Was DeVonta open? Was he not? Should Hurts have thrown to him, or was he right in waiting and throwing to Reagor? What do you think?
So obviously DeVonta was open. DeVonta is the number one wide receiver on his team. And this is where the maturation process of Jalen Hurts and his development is. You see most receivers and most QBs, if they have a dominant number one receiver on their team in those clutch times like that in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, they're going to go to that number one receiver, regardless if he's open or not. You know what I mean? I think it would be easy for us to swallow if that was DeVonta and he was double covered and was just an uncatchable ball. When you see the play, and we were trying to get the film for you guys to play it, and we may have something coming in next couple of weeks, add a different element to our show, so we can actually have it and break it down with you to see what we see. And DeVonta was running a crosser. He's either running a crosser or he's running a drag route. I want to say it's a crosser because of the depth that he had, and he was a 3-by-1 set, if I'm not mistaken. And DeVonta was the by one, if I'm not mistaken. And he had James Bradbury on. And we all know James Bradbury is one of the above average corners in the league. And right now at the sticks, DeVonta it was like a 5-yard route. DeVonta wasn't open, but he had created enough separation to where Watkins already had cleared out the other corner from the top half of the screen. If you're actually watching the TV view of it, this is where obviously DeVonta was on the near side. Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins was on the far side, if I'm not mistaken, I believe. And obviously we saw the route that Reagor ran, and then we saw the route that Watkins ran. That cleared out that open side of the field. And this is the thing. The craziest thing is we talk about Jalen Hurts stepping up in the pocket, not bailing out of the pocket. This play, he actually steps up to the pocket, which makes me – I don't know what he was seeing, because DeVonta had – James Bradbury was at least a yard to 2 yards behind him, and DeVonta had open field in front of him. And that was a higher percentage throw. This is where he needs to learn, take that, keep the chains moving. And then I can't say you see a wide open receiver, you throw it to him. I don't think he gives a shit about the number that's on the jersey, who he's throwing to. He just saw it. He just didn't see it. So 100% agree to the poll. Not because it was just the wrong guy. I just think that play was the better play to make it to the check down man. So because DeVonta not only could have caught it, got more yards, but the out of bounds was right there. He could have ran out to stop the clock. You see what I'm saying? He could have ran out. He could have ran out to stop the clock. Ultimately, yeah, like we just saw Jake Frill say, Reagor should have still caught the ball. But we know Reagor has had a history of the drops. He's had a history of the drops. I don't understand where we're at in this route tree while we're picking Reagor to run these routes with his X, Y, or Z. It's just I don't know. I don't know. The ball should have went his way. The ball should have went his way. One, I don't think it was the most effective throw. Two, obviously, it wasn't the surest hands on the team. We can see that right there. I don't even think I have a third strike, but I think those two are damning enough because we saw the one Hurts, the throw before that. I think was it directly the play before that, the third down play where he actually did step up. Oh no, he back-footed it, but he lofted it to Reagor and it bounced off his hands and his face mask, and then it was out of bounds.
That was two plays before.
Two plays before.
That was like,
was that second down?
That was first down.
First down?
First down? Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was first down.
Yeah. So I mean, no, it's you'll get people, and you've been hearing it all week. By the time we get to it on Thursday, especially after a loss like that, there's not a lot. There's not pleasantries to talk about. It's not pleasure. It's very hard to take good things away from this game. But did you hear it? It's just I don't know why. I don't know why this coaching staff continues to have the faith in Reagor. I mean, obviously you don't want to kill the kid, but it's like, dude, like there's no way that game should have been a loss. When your defense gives up 13 points in the National Football League, I don't give a shit to what any team it is. You should be able to score more than 13 points, especially when the defense is in the top 10, the top 5 defense, and you have 3 takeaways. Obviously, you lost a turnover battle with 4, so it's hard to look at that game and even think about that you're even in that game in the first place, to be in that position in the fourth quarter to where you can possibly go ahead and take the lead late in the fourth quarter. But it's just a microcosm. Those two, we magnify those 2 plays, right? Especially the fourth down play. We magnify that drop catch. Now, the one thing I will say in this situation is Reagor beat his man. He was wide open. Why he felt the need he had to jump at that point, the high point the ball, no idea. But he beat his man. So he has been doing that in his route running. And last year his route running was atrocious, right? But that was a microcosm of everything in that game. Like the Boston Scott fumble, the 2 picks in the red zone from Jalen. The first pick questionable, could have been defensive DPI. Could have. The one at the end of the first half, no excuse for that. No excuse for that. And we talk about this guy taking care of the football. So it's always at any point in that game, Chucks, if the game would have ended with the Boston Scott fumble, right? Say if New York gets the first down, they run it out. You know what I mean? They run the clock out, they get the first down. We don't have it. Then we're talking about the Boston Scott fumble, right? If the Boston Scott doesn't fumble and they score,
we're talking about Boston and Hurts, but go ahead, yeah.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, how that game played out, it was always going to be whoever made the last mistake is going to be the biggest talking point of that game. But whoever made the last mistake, ultimately, you can't really put 100% of the loss totally on that person. They just happened to make the last mistake. This is what Sunday's games was. Sunday game was they have a hot potato. They write who cost us the game on a hot potato, and they pass that bitch around. And whoever had it last, that's the person that we talk about, right?
Sure.
And that's how that game went.
When in reality, like it shouldn't even be like the last person that has it should get the blame. Right. It's all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It should be a shared loss, shared blame.
So in regards to that play, and I broke down and gave my thoughts on the video. So again, go check out my film breakdown video on A2D's Facebook and Instagram. But I'll go over it again. So when you have on that play, he's running. You have a mesh concept. So he's running a drag across the field.
Mm-hmm. So it was a drag.
DeVonta. Okay. He's running, yeah, because on the mesh concept, it's a very shallow cross. So you're running a drag route. And then I forget who the other one was on the other side was running it. But so you have DeVonta, and the way he's running his route across the field, okay, he needs to Hurts not throwing it to DeVonta there instantly. I don't think was a bad decision. I think it was the right decision. Right. Even though DeVonta's open on that play, one, it's short of the sticks because it's 4th and 10. It's short of the sticks. So you don't throw to DeVonta short of the sticks on a 4th and 10. And 2, the angle that DeVonta is running it at is a really weird angle for a mesh concept. So he's, instead of it being flat, being a flattened route, which usually that's what it is, he's kind of turning it on the angle upfield. Yep. And That type of throw is a very difficult throw. All right. So I don't know. Now, as Greg Cosell said, we don't know how that's being coached. Maybe DeVonta was told to do that. So I'm not saying DeVonta was wrong. I'm saying that's what it is. So that's why I don't blame Hurts for not pulling the trigger there. That's perfectly fine. And then once he breaks upfield, and that's where there's that window, right? So he breaks upfield towards the end zone, and that's when he's open. That in terms of that's where you want to throw it. You want to throw it right there when he breaks upfield because he has green grass in front of him. He's beyond the sticks, and the safety over the top is not in the picture. He's too far out of the picture to be able to make a play. There is that slight window there. That's ideally where you want Hurts to throw the ball. However, Hurts had pressure in the pocket right as DeVonta was breaking upfield. Therefore, he had to step up, reset, and then look downfield. By the time he reset, that window to throw to DeVonta was closed.
Right.
So it was done. However, if you look and you rewind it and you go to Hurts in the pocket, the way he steps up, but he's late to step up in the pocket. He should have stepped up in the pocket earlier. He takes a really deep drop for some reason, and then he just stays there, and he doesn't step in the pocket soon enough. Had he stepped up sooner, he wouldn't have had to evade the pressure and reset. Had he stepped up sooner, his eyes would already be downfield. He'd be able to see DeVonta, who was the first read in that progression, and then be able to hit DeVonta where he needs to. Hopefully, you
hopefully,
want to doubt that he will release it when he's supposed to, pull the trigger. But that's my take on the play. Yes, he should have thrown it to DeVonta once DeVonta broke up field, but at the same time, he has to. It's more so him having to step up in the pocket sooner and having better pocket presence than it is about him not being able to see it, because where he was, he had to evade the pressure. So in that case, when you put it that way, you can't blame him for not throwing it not throwing it when he did. But you also have to be critical and say, step up in the pocket, have better pocket presence. At the same time, and I'm pretty sure you will agree, he did a good job extending the play, looking downfield, and he threw a really good ball to Reagor.
When pressure is there, he really throws a good ball. I mean, he I don't know why he takes him.
And he throws Reagor open because Reagor is not initially open, but he throws it in a spot where only Reagor can make a play on it. So Reagor has to catch that. Worst case scenario, it's at the 1 yard line, but it's also a potential game-winning touchdown. So Reagor has to catch that. He absolutely has to catch that. And so it's not so much of like this is on Hurts, it's his fault only. It's on Hurts, it's on Reagor, it's on both of them for not doing what they need to do at certain points, And so I can totally understand why DeVonta got angry. And to be honest,
he should be.
If you look at the other plays I broke down, bro,
he was open before that.
Where it should have been to DeVonta. It should have been to DeVonta. So many other
DeVonta should be seeing 5+ more targets a game. 5+ more targets a game. That's how hard this kid works. Real quick, I want to get the Middlebrooks question before the kickoff. Amari Cooper or Kenny Galladay in his fantasy? I would say Cooper.
No, I read that his snaps are going to be limited.
We talking about Daniel Jones and Kenny Galladay. How many catches did he have against the Eagles? They're going against the Dolphins. And Xavier Howard and Byron Jones.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a tough play. All right, well, but also
you figure Lattimore's going to be on CD.
You think so?
He may travel, but I mean, I don't know.
It's a tough call. I see your point, though. I see your point.
Yeah.
Oh, I see your point. That's tough. I guess go with Amari. Just go. In that case, when it's that close, go with the better talent. Go with the better player. So,
that leads us back to this point where better talent is Smith over Reagor, right? So just feed the kid the ball.
Yeah.
Feed him the ball with the targets until it doesn't make any sense to throw it to him anymore. You make them double cover him. So like right now, DeVonta Smith, while he's not elite as in the top 5 or top 10 wide receivers in the league, he's getting there. You get that attention to him by giving him the extra targets. That means it'll make Reagor's job and Watkins' job just even easier to get open. You know what I mean? Yeah. I almost feel like we had somebody who said we had, I think it was, who was it, like him being 6'1" or Jalen Hurts being 6 foot, and then the wide receivers being like 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", and then Jalen Reagor being like 5'10", I believe. Where like it's easier for him to see JJ. It's crazy enough. He's 2 for 2, 2 targets, 2 receptions. I think he's averaging like 10 to 12 yards a catch. JJ Arcega-Whiteside is.
Oh my God! Can you think?
But imagine, it's almost like if he would have ran the drag with JJ there, and that was the same thing. Obviously, JJ probably wouldn't have got as open as DeVonta did, because DeVonta gets better in his route running and creates more separation as he gets longer into his routes and they get more developed. But I think Hurts would have probably saw him. I don't think he saw DeVonta. I just don't think he saw him. And that's on him. But DeVonta can't change his size. It's weird that the trust was there with Reagor and the trust wasn't there with DeVonta. And I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Fam, keep the comments coming. We love it. We love it.
Yeah, it's so weird because I don't know why in that game it really did seem like he was force feeding the ball to Reagor sometimes, and I don't understand it. Like the one play when they're backed up, the one interception, was it second or third interception? The third interception. They're backed up near their own end zone, and he lost that deep ball to Reagor. Bro, Quez and DeVonta are wide open in the middle. Quez in the middle of the field. DeVonta's about like almost 10 yards close to the sticks. Oh no. It was first and 19 because they had a penalty. But DeVonta was like 10 yards on the left sideline, and he was wide open. Both of them, him and Quez. But he throws a ball to Reagor when he's double covered. And here's the thing. So it's single high, but the safety when he releases it is so obviously shading to Reagor's side. He's leaning to Reagor's side is not even funny. It's so obvious. So when you see that as a quarterback, you think, I'm not throwing it deep. Throwing it deep. That's double cover. That's trouble. But he still throws it. I don't know why. That's a throw you make when you're in the fourth quarter in garbage time and you're just trying to say, like, what the hell? Just throw it up. No, that's not a throw you make in the third quarter, midway through the third quarter.
And then you got to do a better job of with his eyes and his body to try to hold McKinney to the left side of the field to get that extra split second to keep him there, so that way the ball can get there. But then outside of that, so like you said, McKinney really wasn't shady. He didn't do a good job of holding there. But then the throw as well, even with Watkins and DeVonta being open, Reagor had his man beat too. Reagor had his man beat too, and also, but it's just once again, we don't still see the anticipation throws where Hurts. Like the play, the first down play when like we just saw Steven said, they hit him in the helmet off his hands. Hurts has to understand, like, just law of physics. You have a DB that's running side to side backtracking, and then Reagor knows where he's going. If you see the slightest step, throw it, and then let Reagor turn on the jets and try to catch it and separate. You know what I mean? Like the timing isn't there, and it's just once again the fourth down play that Reagor dropped. That throw was amazing because guess what? Hurts had to leave it all out there. He had no choice. He's just not doing that on regular throws, or not. It's constantly the story of the year is just missed opportunities. And yeah, he's in the second year. You can call him. I call him a 1.5 year rookie. Some people still want to call this his rookie year. I don't give him that. I got to give him some credit. He put some time and some tenure on it because he was here last year, whatever you want to call it. And it's just you still want to see it. Now here's the question: before we get into Q2, when we talk about the rest of the NFC East, Is he going to get that leash to really mature? Because I think what we've been hearing all year from the fam is give him this year, give him next year. Let's see what he got. Give him this year, next year. Let's see what he got, right? And Dallas right now, who's playing against New Orleans. New Orleans moving the ball on an open and drive. If Dallas loses this game, remember what I said in week 3, Chucks? I was like, I need Dallas to win this. I need Dallas to run away with the fucking division.
Yeah, I know.
I need Dallas to run because it's going to give us false hope. It's going to give us false hope. But this is the one thing I will say. Imagine how long the leash is for Jalen for Hurts with us. We all know, based on what we had before at the quarterback position, the leash isn't that long when it comes to the people who run this team at all. We've been trying to tell y'all that. Howie is not going to wait. Jeff is not going to wait. If they see something to where they can get better talent and it makes sense, they're going to do it. And after what I saw on Monday night, guess what, bitch? Russ going to be available.
We have to have this conversation once the season's over. It's definitely a conversation. A lot of people have been talking about it. I've been talking about it a lot on Twitter. But the way I see it real quick, as of right now, I am giving Hurts one more season. Unless
that season.
Huh?
Is he going to get that season, though?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen, but what I would do as of right now, I would give Russell Wilson one more year to prove himself and see what he can do, unless Russell Wilson is available. I mean, I would give. Did I say the opposite? I would give Jalen Hurts one more season. I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts one more season to prove himself, unless if Russell Wilson is available. If you can get Russell Wilson, I'm getting him, and I won't get too much into it because that's a conversation for the offseason, and I want to save it. But that's my stance. That's my stance. I want to get to one more comment before we transition over. Well, sort of the beginning. It's something where Brinkman had said right here. He said, Reagor shouldn't dress Sunday. A message needs to be sent that concentration mistakes are unacceptable. Build up culture. Make an example. I want to talk about this real quick on what to do with Reagor. What would you do? Because I agree somewhat with Brinkman's end result here. I don't agree with the reason behind it. I mean, if you're gonna send a message to a player that makes mistakes like that, they're grave mistakes. You have to be consistent and you have to put players that made other grave mistakes, and there have been plenty. So I don't agree with the reason behind it, but what do you do with Reagor like right now? Like, I mean, what would how do you manage this? You have to do something to try to get it.
You can't treat Reagor like in his development right now. You can't look at Reagor like he's just a straight up wide receiver. Yeah, so I would not. His snaps at that position in those routes, I would limit those snaps. I don't think they're the most effective, the most productive for the team and for him. I don't think that's his best utilization. I would try to almost do what San Fran does with Deebo Samuel somewhat. Get in the ball early, close to the line of scrimmage, maybe behind the line of scrimmage, put the ball in his hands and just let him go for there. That way he build his confidence up. I mean, just to go back to my Deebo Samuel point, you don't see Deebo Samuel creating all those air yards like that. I don't remember ever seeing. It slants, goes, reverses. They mostly been in the backfield, but Deebo Samuel running the go route. Not to say he can't do it, but I don't think even Kyle Shanahan knows that's not his best utilization. That's what Reagor we get enamored with his speed, but his build isn't like that. You know what I mean? So I just think it's better to utilize him in a certain different way than what they're trying to do and what we saw on Sunday. And I would hope that they start to scale back that way. And exactly to your point, when we get with Brink's point to bench him, I mean, Derek Barnett didn't see any less snaps after all the bullshit he did. Well, he had a streak of 15-yard penalties at crucial times in the game, offside penalties in the Chargers game. He didn't lose any snaps and never cut back. So you can't do it now. Like you said, you got to be consistent. Don't be like the NFL right now and what they're doing with Antonio Brown, which we'll get to it in no huddle at some point, where they did the same thing that Aaron Rodgers did. And Aaron Rodgers didn't get suspended for 3 games, now did he?
No, he did it.
Exactly. You can't. And once you don't set that tone, you can't backtrack on it. And all year they haven't set the tone. They haven't benched players for being for making mistakes on the field. Obviously, there's something that happens off the field, personal conduct. I think they would do something, but on the field, there's been numerous players that could have been held accountable for other games, and they haven't seen any punishment. And I don't think Reagor should be the scapegoat because two things: he's already shown you mentally he can't handle it. That's one. The man he disavowed all social media because he couldn't handle it. He even blocked A2D for some bullshit last year, for whatever reason.
Being the sole supporter from it,
right? Exactly. So he's already showing you that mentally he can't handle that. Made us push him off the ledge when it comes to his mental. He may end up turning to Ben Simmons for that. But so real quick, let's get around the second quarter. That first quarter went by.
I want to rebuttal you.
Okay.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I'm glad you did. Because I've been seeing that from a lot of people. A lot of people saying, like, oh, you got to use Reagor the same way that the 49ers use Debo and the way the Falcons use Cordero Patterson. You know, the Debo comparisons are very common right now. And I completely understand that mindset, you know, because realistically, Reagor's not going to get cut. He's not going to get cut this season. He's not going to get cut this offseason or next season. He's only in his second year. He's 22, 23 years old. I think 22. So he's going to be on this team, right? So objectively, you have to find a way to get something out of him. And if he's not making plays as a wide receiver, maybe if you get the ball in his hands into the line of scrimmage, get him in space, let him use his speed and dynamic running ability, maybe that'll get him going. Maybe that'll get his confidence going. It's possible. It's definitely possible. I get it. However, there's a big difference right now between Reagor and Debo.
Oh, yeah.
Debo has good vision, great contact balance, and most of all, great play speed. Like, Debo, the way he can fight off contact and stay on his feet is so good. It's so good. It's just like a running back. And the way he runs, he's playing so fast. His play speed is so good. And I want to remind the fam out there, play speed is not the same as time speed. And that's why I have such a big issue with people that use combine 40-yard dash times as evidence as to how fast a player is. It's not. Play speed is what matters. Play speed is the ability to use your athletic ability and execute it the way it's supposed to be executed on a play. Like, from the scouting academy, that's what I learned. Like, they define it as, does a player display the speed necessary to carry out their assignments or make the plays? This differs from time speed and is a combination of mental processing and athletic ability. Debo's play speed it's such at a high level right now. He doesn't have to think. He just goes out there and actually he lets his physical talent take over. Jalen Reagor doesn't have the same vision. He's not seeing running lanes on punt returns or on screens. He's not setting up his blocks. Although Reagor was supposed to have a really good build and muscle structure, like you said, like he's built very like stout and thick built in his body. Like, he's bad right now at fighting off contact and shedding tackles. He's not good at it. And most of all, and I think this is Reagor's biggest flaw overall, his play speed is very poor. When you watch him, he has the physical ability and dynamic athleticism to be a weapon, but you can tell he's not able to put it on the field because he's thinking too much. His mental processing is getting in the way of him just letting his athleticism showcase itself on the field. That's the difference. So I know it's easy to say, oh, use Reagor like Debo. That's the easy solution. But I have little hope right now that even doing that would bring about a ton of success, because it's just not. They're two totally different players.
So you think it's up here, and then where he just can't get to the point to react. So
I think that it's not about how you use him, but you've got to reset him. I was listening to Doug Peterson on the podcast with John Clark, and he was talking about Reagor. And John Clark was asking him about, like, how is there similarities between Reagor's struggles so far and how they handled Aguilar. And you remember that toward the end of Aguilar's second season, they kind of like gave him time off. They had him go down to like the practice squad and so on and so forth, just so he can like reset himself. I think you kind of have to do the same thing with Reagor. If not the same thing, something similar to that. It's not about physical talent with Reagor. It's mental. He's got to learn how to shed all the noise, block out everything, stop being so focused on everything outside and just focus on playing ball. The kid has a physical talent, but he's not putting it together on the field because of this. And that's huge. He's not mature enough right now. And he's not mature enough on the field as a player to allow his physical talents to show. And so I think you need some type of mental reset in the same way or similar way that Peterson had with Aguilar in his second season. So that would be my solution. I don't think using him as Debo is the answer. I don't think that's going to get you anywhere. But
I mean, when I say that, I'm not talking about like he should see that type of value. I'm just saying I'm trying to find a way to maximize his touches. And him going deep on a go route, or what we saw Sunday, that's very low percentage of him being effective. I mean, when we talk about, I'm saying like he's maybe 5% effective now. He's almost to the point where you can't play him, like you said, outside just because
he's so bad.
He's
a negative on the field. It's a negative net result when he's on the field.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where I wouldn't even. I mean, if you want to see Greg Ward get snaps over him, if you want to see JJ get snaps over him, which I think you may start to see that, where you may start to see 19 out there more, 14 out there. Yeah. Because you need something. You need something. Yeah. So before we get into the NFCs, I just want to let you know our second quarter is brought to you by a company who I support, who the platform supports. And before we actually started promoting them on the platform, we were users of their products. And the company I'm referring to is Body Check Wellness. And Body Check Wellness is a line of products in a company that promotes wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. We all know what hemp is, unless you've been living under a rock. And the hemp comes in many different forms. It comes in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. And if you head over to bodycheckwellness.com, you want to place an order, you can use the promo code A2D for 25% off your order at, once again, bodycheckwellness.com. So I actually have the NFC East standings here to kick off our second quarter. And for a while, it was pretty distant. The Cowboys are out in front, but they dropped 2. Now they're sitting at 7-4. Washington is 5-6. The Eagles are 5-7, and the Giants are now 4-7. So, with that being said, it seems like I remember as soon as we were hitting our stride in that little 2-game win streak, and we played better against the Chargers, I was like, everybody's like, "All right, here we go." I'm like, listen, Washington's starting to get better. The Giants are somewhat turning the corner. They weren't as terrible, but mainly I want to focus on WFT. The Washington football team. Taylor Heineke, they're starting to play where he's being the game manager. And now they got Curtis Samuel coming back. He played a little bit. You can kind of see how they used him. Terry McLaurin is a freaking stud. And the defense is what it is. It's just obviously they lost Chase Young. No Montez Sweat, I believe, is on IR, if I'm not mistaken. But Jonathan Allen's finally stepping up. They're getting play out of Jamin Davis, out of the first-round pick as a linebacker. Secondary is bend but don't break. They don't have any superstars, but Landon Collins are starting to use him in a way that's making him more efficient. This division, man, it's not as walk away for Dallas as it was 3-4 weeks ago. So the division as a whole is playing better, playing more consistent. And it's just, I don't know, the NFC Outlook. I mean, like I said, if Dallas drops this game, you don't know. This is that's pass interference. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's uncatchable, but so as we're watching the game as well.
I know, yeah, I saw that.
That was there. Oh God, you have to make that throw, Taysom.
Talk about two teams that we both hate.
Oh, that's that illegal contact. I mean, they're letting them play. I want to have the whistle to go both ways. That's all. But no, on NFC East Outlook, man, it's up in the air. It's obviously we know Dallas is the most talented team, but one of the things that we always say is Dallas does Dallas shit at some point during the year. They don't for whatever reason they lose games they shouldn't lose, and they don't play up to their talent. You know what I mean? Jeremiah Butler with the dono, we appreciate that. It's just honestly, I don't think Jeremiah outplayed Fogelman camp, but as a GM, No, and that's the thing, and that's where the stature and status goes with it. You know what I mean? And that's ultimately it took Aguilar. Aguilar still saw his whole contract here, his whole rookie deal.
Yes, he did.
Rager's going to see the same. I mean,
they extended Aguilar. They exercised his option, right?
They exercised his option. Yeah, he got the 5th-year option. Yeah. But I think Rager's just going to get the 4. I don't think they're going to do the 5th-year option. But the thing is, guess what, fam? You got 2 more years of this shit. You know what I mean? He was drafted in 2020. You got 2 more years of this. So
yeah, he's not going anywhere. I know a lot of people want him cut. He's not going to do that. Anywhere.
They're not cutting bait on that.
And I'm not trying to defend Reagor. I'm just speaking facts. Like, he's not getting cut. He's not getting cut. We are.
And Fulgham's psyche is almost just as bad as Rager's. I mean, what happened last year? Fulgham could have took last year when Alshon came back, and then he could have said, "Okay, I'm minimizing my snaps now. So when I do get my snaps, I still got to ball up. I got to show them why I deserve these snaps." Didn't do that. You know what I mean? He almost want to take his ball and go home. Yep. And the thing is with Fulgham's been on the practice squad all year. They haven't protected him not once. Have not protected him once, and he's still here. Yep. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show what other teams around the league think about you as well. Now, could it be that certain teams are thinking that they value close to what they have? The devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't. It could be one of those things as well. This is going to shock you. Listen, dude, I think having Umbrella Boy out there sometimes and just being a bigger body receiver until we go get Mike Williams in free agency next year, please, Howard.
Don't jinx it.
You need. I think Hurts needs any quarterback would benefit from having a bigger body type of receiver. I always say wide receiver cores. You can't have them all doing the same thing. You can't have them all doing the same. Only very few times does that work. Obviously, Kansas City's a little bit different because it's just Cheetah and it's McCole Hardman, it's Byron Pringle. It's I don't even think Josh Gordon has a catch. I don't even know if he's still on the team. There's another wide receiver I'm missing that they have that I can't. It's slipping my mind. But they have speed all over the board. But most wide receiver cores, they have guys that do different things. You know what I mean? That are very versatile. We don't have that bigger body type receiver outside of JJ. That's on the actual 53 because obviously Fulgham's on the practice squad. So, but when I look around the NFC East, man, defenses are pretty good across the board from all 4.
They're tightening up. Yeah.
All defenses across the board in the division are pretty good.
Which is weird. Remember when we did the all NFC East team and we tried to put a roster together on the defensive side? It was so bad. It was so bad. But yeah, I mean, I think that goes to show that sometimes like the scheme really helps a lot because even though there's not a ton of household names on the NFC East, like the coordinators are doing a really good job with the defenses. So yeah,
it's like they know the system. I think now in the NFC East, it took 12 games in, 11 games in for the teams to really find out what their identity is.
Yeah,
I think, and this is going to sound crazy. But out of all the 4 teams, I think Dallas is the only other team that's still trying to figure out who their identity is on defense. I think some on offense, but even offense, McCarthy gets away from the shit. I don't think McCarthy's coaching in this game. If I'm not mistaken, right? He has COVID.
He's not COVID. Yeah, the COVID thing.
So, but as far as I think the Giants have a good idea who they are in defense. Still trying to figure out the offense. Obviously, they got rid of Jason Garrett and now Freddie Kitchens calling the plays. I think Washington with Ron Rivera, both sides of the ball, I think they have a clear identity who they are.
Yep.
Us as the Eagles, I think we have an identity. I think Gannon is finding his identity on defense. On offense, I don't know why Sirianni got pass happy. And one of those things, if you listen to the comments after the game, he said, "I'm not happy with where the pass game is at." So this is telling you that he had a coach is being handicap based off of what he feels as if he wants to see. You know what I mean? I bowl, right? I bowl a lot. And I have too many bowling balls that I would like to admit. All right. And I have overlap. I literally have overlap in the motion and what the ball's doing, their strength. But a lot of times I'll get stuck into a ball because I just want to see this. I want to score this way. I want to see my ball do this. I want to play the lanes in a certain way. And it may not be the best way on that day to use that piece of equipment, but that's me as the ultimate power and control because it's a singular sport. I can control what I throw. And I think that's kind of the same thing what we're seeing here with Sirianni. He knows how he wants to play, right? And he wants to play a certain way. And when he's not, he wants to try to start with that passing game. And what is my mind is it funny, right? You have the last 4 games or so, the Eagles have had over 200 yards or almost averaging close to 200 yards a game rushing the ball, right? Now all of a sudden against a team where you're supposed to be favored, and now you come out passing the ball. Like did Laurie get tired? Did Laurie get tired of seeing us? They went for the he just missed it. Just a good play call.
Opening up a can of worms that I didn't even really think about.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Did Laurie really have?
That's why I try to tell people, like we try to set these timetables for the fan base, and we be sitting here doing on A2D for all the shows. As you know, we bring it to you 7 days a week. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. We said you think that fans was coming at us like, you're not giving Jalen Hurts a chance. You're not giving this player a chance. Your leash is too short. Give him time. Give him time. Listen, dog. We got probably a longer leash than what the owner and the GM got. I'm telling you that right now. And the proof is in the pudding. Carson was he who should not be named, was the MVP in 2017. 2018, he came back, he struggled. 2019, he got the team to playoffs. What did they do in 2020 draft? The whole time he was here, they had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. When you tell me, did they put the same emphasis on the QB position when Donovan was here?
No.
Okay, then. So when they truly have confidence that they have a guy that they believe in,
yep.
They listen. It's you go from here to here with your QB. Ever since the last 4 or 5 years, they've been here with the QB, and the backup has been like right here, as far as what they see on the same level talent wise. You see what I'm saying? So if they feel as if a Matt Corral, or if they feel as if they can go get a Russell Wilson if he becomes available for the right deal, trust and believe they're going to make that. They're going to make that move, and it shows. Like, listen, Hurts is hurt. The ankle's not 100%. His mobility is going to be a problem.
Oh yeah,
going against Robert Saleh on Sunday at 1 o'clock against the Jets.
Oh yeah.
So when you see that, a Minshew I'm not saying I have all the faith in the world in Minshew, but listen. Jalen Hurts has this internal clock that he wants to play. He's very competitive, but I think also part of him knows if I get somebody else in here and they can throw it better than me and the offense looks better, I can lose my job. I could lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this isn't Alabama where you can just go skate your ass off to Oklahoma and just roll yourself into another starting gig. The NFL ain't like that. So my hats goes off to him. He wants to keep playing. You have to carry him off the field. But I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. The Giants surprised me. Can the Giants got a real tough matchup this week? Going against the Dolphins, I don't even know where the game is at. But if it's in Miami this time of year, humidity, hot, heat, ain't gonna work out too well. And then the Dolphins defense, man, the boys been balling. They've been getting me like 25 points the last 2 weeks in a row in fantasy. So
they need to lose.
Listen, I will say it now, though, if things keep trending the way that they are, I think the Eagles' own first-round pick next year may be the highest pick that they have. We wouldn't have said this 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
We wouldn't have said this 4 weeks ago, but now with the Dolphins now sitting, they were at like 1-6 or 2-6, and now they're like 4-6, 4-7, something like that. They won 3 of the last 4 games, something like that. And then obviously you see what they're doing in Indy. They're right there, 6-6. You know what I mean? So I think our pick may be the worst pick, maybe the highest pick, because we may end up with the worst record of all 3. But that's the good thing. We'll get into it in no huddle. So, your thoughts on the NFC East outlook? Anything else different from what I hit on?
So, I mean, no, you hit on good stuff. I still obviously I don't see the Cowboys choking. This division is
okay.
Cowboys,
and I don't want them to. I want them to win.
Yeah, it's their division. It's their division
this year.
Yeah, it's their division. All this like, oh, we're coming for the Cowboys. We're taking the NFC East. Like after the Saints game, I was like, no, God, please don't. Like, but the Giants are the Giants. To me, I'm not impressed with them. I know they beat us. I'm not being bitter. Because I do believe that the Eagles beat the Eagles. I don't think the Giants beat the Eagles.
Yeah. For sure. And it shows by them having 4 extra possessions, and it shows by them having 4 extra possessions, and them still only scoring 13 points. I mean,
yep. I'm not a huge believer in that team. So to me, I think they're at the bottom of the team. They're still at the bottom of the division. The Washington is interesting, and I like there are several players on that team that I like. Heineke is interesting because talking about a guy who can move, he has athleticism, but he's starting to. I've been impressed with some of the throws I've seen from him in the past couple of weeks. Like, he's not
he can sling it. He can sling it, and intermediate routes he can sling it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Again, I'm not going to say he's the Washington's franchise quarterback. I'm not going to say that right now. Maybe, but I mean, it's still early. We have to see him to keep developing, but he's impressed me. The past few weeks. Obviously, we both know how I feel about Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin is one of the best receivers in the whole league. He needs a damn QB. Thankfully, Heineke is starting to play better. We both know how I feel about Antonio Gibson. I think Antonio Gibson has the highest ceiling now. Now that Saquon is he's a shell of himself right now. I don't know if he'll ever be back to what he was. Without Saquon, I think Antonio Gibson has the highest ceiling out of any running back in this division. Antonio Gibson is so good. He's so damn good. Former Eagle, preseason hero Eagle, DeAndre Carter, past few weeks for Washington has also been playing well as a wide receiver 3 for them. A depth piece who could potentially have a role with them in the future. He's been playing well, and he's a good returner too, as we remembered. They have pieces, and so it's not going to be a cakewalk against them. We still face them twice. I do think we beat them twice, but I could be dead wrong. We absolutely could split, and I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we split.
I think it's a split coming.
Yeah. So, and if it's a split, that puts us at 8 wins at best or something like that.
Yeah. So but 5-7 now, 6 games left. So that'll put you at if they 5 games left now. I mean, if they go 3-2, say this win the home games. So say they win the Giants home game, Washington home game, Dallas home game. So that's
8 wins.
8 and 9. Yeah. That's kind of where we had them at the whole time.
Yeah. It's not enough for the playoffs. So
yeah.
I
wouldn't say it's not enough for the playoffs. I wouldn't say that. These teams, these finicky ass French teams, bro.
We'll get to it soon. We'll definitely get to it soon. But man, that is a whole bumble cluster of teams at spots 6, 7. Even I guess you can say 5.
It's crowded.
It's crowded.
It's so crowded. In both conferences.
Yeah. So that's how I see these teams. I think that I'm not worried about the Giants. It's Washington that I have to keep my eye on. Keeping my eye on Washington. They're going to be tough to get over twice because how far apart are the games? 2 weeks apart?
I think so. Let me take a look.
Because we face them after the bye, then we play the Giants, and then we play Washington, I think. Right? So I think it's 2 weeks apart. That is a tough thing to do, to beat teams twice in a row. I do think we're the better team when we're running the ball. So if we're running the ball a lot, I do think we win. But again, I could be wrong.
We got the Jets by Washington, Giants, Washington. So you got the Giants, you got the Washington 2 times in 3 weeks.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be a tough matchup against Washington to try to get that final playoff spot because they're going to be fighting for it too. So there's Amari.
You got them fighting for it. You got the Vikings fighting for it. So there you go, Middlebrook.
There you go. I hope. Did you start Amari? If you're still listening.
If you're still
Middlebrook, if you're still listening, let us know if you started Amari. No, yeah. All right. So that's the first half of the show. We're moving on to the second half, and it's brought to you by our doc, Paul Vidal, at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. They have 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill. Make them yours at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Let's go around the league, around the NFL. Let's talk about other games, other news. Let's touch on this real quick before we get into games. It'll transition to the first topic I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Brown, Mike Edwards suspended, fake COVID results.
The fake COVID cards.
Cards, yeah, fake COVID cards they presented. And AB he's been out for several weeks, longer than they expected.
3 more games,
longer than expected. Oh, would you have, real quick question, because we'll keep it simple. I mean, it is what it is. Would you have rather seen a more steep punishment, or do you think that punishment fits the crime?
No, I can't even say the punishment fits the crime because once again, we had Aaron Rodgers do the same exact thing and put others at harm based off of a furbished vaccination status, and he didn't miss a game at all.
Yeah,
he didn't miss a game at all. This once again, the NFL is an epitome of inconsistency when it comes to punishment.
Oh, absolutely.
It always is. It always is. And I would have to see if AB didn't have the track record that AB had, and if he was healthy, would he still be suspended for 3 games? Mind you, he could have missed the next 3 games. I don't even know if he was on track to come back from medical wise to play. You know what I mean? So
I don't think he was on track to come back anyway.
So
I think they were keeping him out for a week or 2. So the 3 more games puts him back even further than I expected, I think.
CD is special, boy.
He's so good. He's their best wide receiver. No disrespect to Mario, I was saying it, but like Lamb is their best wide receiver.
Yeah, CD is special, boys.
If CD cleans up the drops, he's a problem. He's an absolute problem. But yeah, so it's tough to say. I think I hear what you're saying. I maybe would have wanted it a little steeper, but Gallup. That's a touchdown.
Why did they not? Oh, that's a touchdown.
What? Dude, that's a touchdown.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent.
I would absolutely. Gallup is so underrated, yo. Gallup is so underrated. His body control is so good. Look at his catches near the sideline. He's so good.
His awareness with his toes is amazing.
I would be willing to, because we don't have a good track record of bringing former Cowboys onto the Eagles. I would still ignore that from Michael Gallup. I think Michael Gallup is a very, very, very good wide receiver. I would love to have him opposite DeVonta. So he's one of the numerous wide receivers in free agency that I would take. Molly Moss says we're going to franchise tag Gallup. Can you afford him? This is a legit question because Dallas. I know Dallas has always they've been spending big money. Like, is Dallas able to franchise tag him and afford him and pay everyone else? I don't know. Like, I'm legit asking. Anyone has a good picture of the Dallas salary cap situation, or just plugged in with Dallas? Like, do they plan on doing that? Are they able to do that? I'd like to know. But Jeremiah Butler says, I just want Godwin. Godwin is I think he's the top of my list. I would.
I didn't want to bring him up because I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah. I love Godwin. I loved him since he was a rookie. But anyways, yeah. So we talked about that. I would like to see the punishment be a little steeper, but I guess I'm okay with what it is. But talking about the Buccaneers, let's talk about that game. Bucks Colts. We've been talking Bucks have been struggling lately, and the beginning of that game, they got down. They came back. It was a great game, back and forth. Hats off to the Colts because they didn't have Taylor going off. The Bucks were defending them really well, but they were still able to hang in there. Carson Wentz maybe had his best game of the season so far. Unfortunately, they came up short. But like, are the Bucks? I guess you say like, are they back? Like back?
Well,
They struggled.
I would say they had a stretch of 20 plays without a run play. So Frank Wright, while they had the Bucks down, he got discouraged and he went away from the run for 20 plays. Well, arguably the MVP of the league. And you kind of like it's kind of similar. It's hard to say that the Colts lost it and the Bucks and the Bucks just took advantage of it. But that's kind of how the game went. They had the Bucks, but once again, you can't give Tom. You can't give him an opportunity. You can't. And then Leonard Fournette. Listen, people forget. In that 2016, was it 2016 or 2017?
Or which one?
Was him Fournette and Zeke weren't in the same draft? I don't think.
No, they were not.
Glassboro's own Jawan Johnson.
No, Fournette was 2016. No, wait, hold on.
17 wasn't.
17. I had it mixed up. Sorry. Fournette was 17. Zeke was 16.
Yeah, so people forget Fournette was a third overall pick. Boy's a bad man. He's got character issues and couldn't stay. Now he has something to play for. So, and when they start to when the Bucks are finding that run game, because Tom didn't have a great game, he didn't have to throw it a lot. And with Gronkowski being back now, man, watch out. And the defense is getting healthier as they go on. They're getting the secondary pieces back. I mean, it's one of those things like the Bucks. That's why I said it 3 weeks ago on the show. The Bucks, to me, are the best team in the league because they can beat you with.
They very well could be.
They can beat you with their B game, and they had their B game on Sunday against the Colts on the road. The game they traveled, and they came out with a W against a team that is playing better than what people expect and wish they had. I mean, people don't realize the Colts started off 1-4, 1-3.
Yeah, 1-4.
And they won 5 of the last 7. So imagine if that's 2-3, you know what I mean? 3-2, where they would be at. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it just so happened to be that when Derrick Henry was healthy, they played them bitches twice. And then that's 2 of the losses. That's 2 of the 6 losses right there. Another game, any other games from around the NFL that you want to talk about?
Well, real quick with the Bucks and Colts, to your point about them not running with Taylor, actually, Frank Reich actually talked about that in his press conference.
Okay.
And he said that in reply to that, because that was obviously going to be a question, he said that a lot of the plays that were called were RPO plays. So obviously you know how RPOs work.
Yeah, Carson.
He said that on those RPO plays, when they passed the ball, they were averaging 7 yards a pop. So it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
7 yards a pop. And it's working because they obviously scored 30-plus points against the Bucks. So I get Frank Reich's point. I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt and say, okay, like that's fine. I'm not gonna complain too much about it. I think it's just that I think both teams played very well. The Bucks just played better at the end to win it. And I want to also say, Leonard Fournette, who I've been very critical of the past several years, being one-dimensional, being a little overrated. This season, he has turned into a different back. Because remember, even as of last year,
he was pushing Ronald Jones, boy.
He was like Leonard Fournette was not a good receiver. I don't care what anyone says. Like he did not show natural hands, soft hands before. He wasn't a reliable receiver out of the backfield. And if you want further proof, they went out and signed Gio Bernard because Rojo wasn't he wasn't doing it as a receiver either. Neither of them were. They signed Gio Bernard, but Fournette worked on his receiving ability in the offseason, and it's showing this year. This year, he's become a much better receiver, and that versatility has added to his value, and he's playing very, very well. So I'm giving credit where it's due. Fournette, to me, who was a little overrated in years past, but now he is a very, very good running back because he's added that ability, that versatility to his game. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, people always think that I put too much stock in a running back's receiving ability, but this is what I'm talking about. Like when you're not one-dimensional, it helps it helps you bring more value to your team. So that's why I put so much stock in being a receiving back, being able to be at least reliable toward near the line of scrimmage. So, but he deserves credit. I'm so glad he's turned his game, to the better. Let's go Panthers Dolphins. Me and you were both high on the Panthers before this season, and they've crumbled. They're not going to reach the 10-win mark as I predicted. And Cam's gone.
Listen, you go to be a QB in the city of Charlotte and go play for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, your skills get taken by the Monstars. I don't know what it is, man. And you talk about somebody that's been. He's going to trade the farm for a quarterback this offseason.
They have to. I think they tried to give it. I don't blame them for trying to see what they could do with Darnold. I don't blame them at all. That was a very low risk, high reward kind of move because they didn't really give up anything. So, it was a low risk move, and it's not panning out. And right now, you have Darnold, who you could still have as a potential backup, but you have to get a quarterback. You have to get a quarterback.
And like I said, to go shopping for a quarterback right now in this draft is like going to shop for a car right now. Everything is overpriced and undervalued, and the talent's just not there. So you got to do some crazy things. Maybe it may be giving up a Jeremy Chin and multiple picks or something, or just it's going to at least take the Panthers 4 first-round picks. 4. You know what I mean? And it may, to be honest with you, with the talent that they have on defense, they may be able to get away with that. You just got to get really good at drafting. You got to.
The Panthers have done a good job of building a team around their quarterback. Because they have their defense has pieces, and on offense they have pieces. They need an O-line. I think once they get an O-line, everything will start to come together better. But they have the skill position, like they have the receivers and Chuba Hubbard. I don't think he's a starter, but I think he's a good RB2.
And that's another one. You talked about Barkley earlier. I try to tell y'all these fucking dudes were. That's the first cuss word of the night. We're too big for them frame, bro. Him and Saquon, too big. CMC's body cannot hold up. Remember the first 2 years, he was Mr. Reliable. He was durable. Now, as he's out for the year again, I think it's the third year in a row. In a row. I think
he's reached his physical peak. I think his body's telling him like he can't take it anymore. It's brutal. The position is brutal, absolutely brutal. And it's sad to go because like when CMC was in his prime, he was so fun to watch, so much fun to watch. But like it's sad to see, pretty much see him just break down. Titans, Patriots.
I was just about to say
are the Patriots the best team in the AFC?
Dude,
I think so.
Best defense, and they still gave. I don't know how they gave up 270 yards, bro. You go back and look at the stats of that game. They won by 23, but they gave up 270 on the ground to the Titans. 270. Bill is not going to be happy about that, but we try to tell you about Mac Jones going to the right place, the right system. They're running the ball. They don't have the flashiest names on the outside. Nelson Aguilar, maybe the biggest name that they have. Hunter Henry, Jonathan Smith is out there. They're filling their roles, and you got Josh McDaniels having full faith in his quarterback. He didn't have last year. Saints touchdown.
Lil Jordan Humphrey. How bad that for a first name? Lil Jordan. That's your first name. Is Lil
That's
Jordan.
His official first name?
I guess so.
Oh my goodness.
Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Where Big Jordan Humphrey at? I took the Saints with the points tonight, by the way.
Did you?
They're getting 6.5. Yeah.
I did a same game parlay because they had a odds boost on DraftKings. So I took the over on rushing yards for Ingram, the over on rushing yards for Taysom Hill, and the under on rushing yards for Pollard. So
C's just opened up on that play action, boy.
Yeah, I know. It's good ball handling too.
Can't stay the Saints. Sean Payton.
Can't say them. But hey, they're in their white Power Ranger uniform. I will take them. I will root for them over the Cowboys any day.
Of course.
Power Ranger uniform. So,
of course.
They're filling their roles, and this is what I'm talking about: the disrespect from last year over Bill Belichick. It's like, oh, Tom Brady's winning the Super Bowl. It was all Tom Brady. That dynasty was all Tom Brady, wasn't it, bro? Bill Belichick didn't have a roster. He didn't have any talent on either side of the ball, and now he has talent. Look what he's doing, and like people. And I also want to say, people want to trash Mac Jones, saying he's not doing anything special. Why is he being hyped up? He's not doing anything special. I get that. He's not doing anything special. But for a rookie QB, you have to give him credit for doing what he's supposed to be doing and doing what he's asked to do in that system. That he deserves
Which
credit
is not the easiest system in the world to learn.
And like people act like being a system QB or a game manager is such a bad connotation. It's not a bad connotation. Like QBs sometimes, even like the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, the elite quarterbacks of the world, they have times where they have to manage a game. They have to be a game manager.
We saw that Monday, Chucks. We have everybody. Seattle as an organization has got so used to Russ Cook. Now he needs structure. He needs plays to be called to make it easier for him because he came back from this injury. And you see what happens. They have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league, DK and Tyler Lockett. Can't use them.
You can't use them. And don't get me wrong. I don't care how bad he looks right now. I would still want him. I actually hope he keeps looking bad so that the value in his stock goes down and it'll be cheaper to get. But like you see him right now, he's not throwing accurate passes, and it's just there's no structure there. The offensive coordinator is horrible. Pete Carroll's going to get fired after this season. It's a mess in Seattle. But being an elite talent at quarterback and being able to make plays and do this and that, that's great when you need it. That's absolutely amazing when you need it. But there are times in the game when you don't need it. You need to manage the game. So you can't take that away from Mac Jones when he's simply doing what he needs to be doing. He's distributing the ball to where it needs to go, making the throws he needs to make, and not doing anything special. He's not turning it over. He's doing what a rookie quarterback is. It's impressive for a rookie quarterback. So credit to Mac Jones. It's not a bad thing that he's not doing anything special. And you got to give credit to Bill Belichick. I really do think the Patriots are the best team in the AFC. I think they're going to be a force to contend with.
The most balanced team. I would say the most balanced team. So let's call this real quick the lake of turmoil. All right. So I got two teams, lake of turmoil, three kind of. Baltimore is a fringe. You're not going to get away with throwing 4 interceptions every week and win the game. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski is doing, not running the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt on Sunday Night Football. That game was easily had. Once again, 4 turnovers and you lost the game. But most importantly, sitting in the center of the lake of turmoil, Steelers are fucking done.
Of course,
God, like Roethlisberger, swan song, go away. You even said, I think you said it. I would like to see what Haskins can give him because Roethlisberger ain't it. He not it. I can't remember the last time I seen the Steelers.
They're not going to bench him. They're not going to bench him.
But it's tough. It's a tough watch. I watched the Steelers lose 41-10.
I know. Yeah, and they have such a flash in the pan kind of thing because against was it the Bills on that was it Monday night when they played Monday Sunday night where they came back, right? It was 2 weeks ago, something like that. And they came back and it's like, or it was against the Chargers. I'm sorry, like if I'm messing this up, I'm sorry. It was either against the Bills or the Chargers. I think it was the Chargers actually. So they came back, almost won it, but the Chargers. It wasn't against the Chargers. The Chargers won late.
It was 40. It was 41-37.
Yeah.
Mike Williams with the 53 touchdown.
And the Steelers come back, and Ben throws for a couple touchdowns late, and it's like, oh, like he's back. No, he's not back. Like he's going to have a flash in the pan game every once in a while. He's a future, arguably Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a veteran. He's smart. Of course, he's going to have these type of games, but he's done. And I don't know, the Steelers.
And the defense is bad. I don't know what happened to the defense. I mean, they let Bud Dupree walk, go to Tennessee. I think TJ Watt is hurt. But I mean, still, even with that, I mean, it's to the point now where I'm just like, listen, like, obviously, I don't think they'll get rid of Tomlin, but they don't like. Once again, this is another team. This is another team that has no future at the QB position already on the roster.
Yeah,
and it's
so
there's probably going to be teams in this draft that are going to be reaching for QBs that they probably wish they would have took last year. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but last game I want to get to is the New York Jets won I wouldn't say tough game, but they won a game against the battle of the worst against the Houston Texans on the road.
I did not watch that game. I'll be honest.
No, I didn't. I caught the highlights of the game. It wasn't really something I wanted to watch like that. But really, a flea flicker from Dallas? Wow, no, too much talent to be doing tricky shit like that. But no, so it leads us into our fourth quarter, and our fourth quarter is brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Go there. I think they have a full complement of drafts, beers on tap, top shelf bar, full menu. And if you're there, get some drinks and some food. Use the promo code A2D. 10% off your order where you dine in, take out, or order online at Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com. So, Sunday day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, playing in the same place they just took a loss in. Is there any chance, Chucks, that they lose this game?
Of course, there's a chance. Like we're not good enough to say, "Oh, like there's little to no chance." Of course, there's a chance. You never know. But I do think that the Eagles do win this game. I do think that last week was like a crap. We were feeling ourselves a little bit after the Saints win, and we thought we could just walk all over a less talented team, but we can't. So I think they're going to take out their frustrations and right the ship against the Jets. And I think I'm not going to say they're going to blow them out, but I think it's going to be a game they're going to be able to control, I believe. So I do think that they're going to get back to attacking on the ground a lot. The rushing attack should be good. Miles Sanders said he's probably going to play. Jordan Howard, they said he's trending in the right direction, but he still hasn't practiced, I believe. So I don't know. I mean, we could use him too. Him and Sanders together. Again, that rushing attack with him and Sanders would be great. So I would like to see both of them together on the field, providing that, the rushing abilities for the team. But even without, if Howard can't go, I still think it's enough. We have enough talent to beat the Jets. The Jets are going to be without Michael Carter on their offensive side of the ball. So I'm not a believer in any of their running backs that they have right now.
Ty Johnson and Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, I'm not, they're no one special. They use the same type of running scheme as Kyle Shanahan, the outside zone scheme. Use play action off of Wilson, but I think Wilson's struggling. So I think the defense is going to play well. On the defensive side of the ball for us, the one person obviously I think we have to be wary of is Elijah Moore. There's a future freaking stud. Like he's their best weapon that they have right now, and he's been coming on as of late. So Elijah Moore is the key person to focus on for this defense. They have to contain him. They use him in a multitude of ways on gadget plays, down the field, close to the line of scrimmage. So you focus on him. But I think the offense will right the ship. I think the offense will be able to attack this defense, and I think they win.
Okay. Elijah Moore picked him up in my fantasy league, which is a keeper league for $1. So he's probably going to be a keeper next year or a trade bait to get better keepers.
I traded for him before the season started my dynasty league. I'm so glad I did. I was like, I think he's going to be one of the better receivers of this class, and he could be. So We'll see.
Yeah, so I kind of see the game playing out similar. I mean, like you said, there's always a chance. But like we talked about it, I mean, we have an A2D group chat on our WhatsApp, and we were talking about Sunday early in the first quarter. After the first pick, I said, "Listen, this is the first game in about 4 weeks that the Eagles have been favored. It's a different vibe when you're coming in and you're expected to win the game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a different vibe. You got to play with a different type of chip on your shoulder. Still a chip on your shoulder, but it's a different type of chip on your shoulder. So now I actually like the fact that it's in the same place that they lost the last week.
Yeah.
In the same
Yeah.
So I think you're going to come out and see a more balanced team, a more complete game from both sides of the ball. I think they get the win. I like the complement of weapons as far as on the outside with Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, and Elijah Moore. Obviously Elijah Moore being that it factor. But like you said, this the quarterback acquisition with Zach Wilson. I think it's his second game or third game back. I just don't think the consistency is there. I think the defense is starting to come along to them, and they do have CJ Mosley. I think Marcus May is out for the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
I think, but they still have Quentin Williams as well at D tackle, who's a force. But I mean, once again, it shouldn't be anything that we can't handle and get out of there with a W. What's up, Don? I actually think that the Lions get their first win this week. They're going to Minnesota and Detroit.
Minnesota.
I mean, they're playing Minnesota, but it's in Detroit.
Minnesota,
no Dalvin Cook.
Mediocre team,
no Dalvin Cook. So, but yeah. Tom chiming in as well. He said we better. I don't think they're going to roll the Jets. You just want to get the W, man. You want to get the W. Get a W this week, and then that leads you into the bye, and then you come in fresh, ready for Washington after the bye week on December 19th. December 19th, the week before Christmas. So that's how I see it playing out. I see them getting a W. Stranger things have happened. Now, I mean, it's right now. So they're putting me in a tough spot because I came into the season with no expectations. Not saying I want them to lose, but I'm also like, okay, win, get into the wild card. I've never been that. I don't want to be a epitome of mediocrity. I don't want to be the Andre Iguodala Sixers. You know what I mean? We're getting this 5th, 6th, 7th A seed every year.
Yeah,
I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. I want to have long-term plans, long-term goals. And I like I said, even dare I say, no matter how this season ends up, right? Wherever outside of running the table, right? Outside of them running the table these next 5 games, right? And finishing at 10-7. I still think they're going to look for an upgrade. They're going to have money to spend. They have draft capital to use. And as long as they come out of the draft with Kyle Hamilton or some type of DB,
Derek Stingley.
I'm cool.
I'm looking at those two. I'm looking at those two.
I'm cool because it's not talked about enough. They need a fucking safety on this team. When this defense
I've been saying it on the show for the past 2-3 years, Pete. So
ever since they lost Malcolm Jenkins, the defense just ain't the same, bro. The defense ain't the same without a free safety. This defense, the Eagles' defense historically hits different when they got a free safety.
Yes.
When they got a Malcolm Jenkins, the defense just hit different.
I never understood why safety is so overlooked sometimes. Like they talk about corner and how it's so valuable, and it is.
Right.
But to me, a safety is pivotal in coverage too, and a safety has a lot of responsibilities on the back end. So I never ever understood the devaluing of a safety compared to everyone else. Like we've dated a safety. Even before Malcolm left, I said, you need to draft one so Malcolm can groom that safety. And we've needed one for years.
Jeremy Chin would have been nice. Kyle Duggar would have been nice.
Jeremy Chin would have been so nice. Oh, my God. And people, it's so funny. Everyone brings up the Reagor thing when he wasn't even my favorite player in that draft. My 2 favorite players in that draft were Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin was the one player I wanted the most for the Eagles. Right. And we would have drafted him if they didn't pull the trigger on Hurts. That's always going to stick with me. Like, I'm always going to be like, oh, goddamn. Yeah. But, yeah, man, it's so if you want to talk about that, like, let's real quick get to Middlebrooks question real quick, and then we'll go to We'll go to
no,
huddle.
we'll go no huddle. No huddle.
So
I mean, this game is pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So we'll just do that now then. So yeah, no huddle. Brought to you by Sunrise Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox, because many of us and our families, we deal with mental health and addiction issues. We're happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need mental health therapy or addiction detox, please call 856-651-8117. Tell them Tom from A2D sent you. So Middlebrook says, I had to go up a little bit more. Sorry. Says, what do you guys think about Adam Schefter saying Wilson would allow his no trade clause go to the Eagles? I know he wants to be playing with a team in the Northeast, to be with his wife who lives here. He says, I think it might be Pennsylvania, but not Philly, but Pittsburgh. I guarantee he won't be in Seattle next year. Almost didn't stay this year. And their O-line stinks. Our O-line, along with a Godwin or Williams to go with Smith, might get him here. I want to touch on that real quick. Because people always talk about, when we talk about Wilson and not wanting him, they mention how this team that has too many holes. On the defensive side, sure. Yes, we have a lot of holes on the defensive side. But what glaring holes are there on the offensive side? There's one.
For us?
There's one glaring hole on the offensive side, and that's wide receiver 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out and get a free agent wide receiver like Godwin or Williams, like Brent Middlebrook says, what glaring holes? We have one of the best O-lines in the league. We have good running backs. We have a great tight end. We have a great young stud wide receiver, future star, and then you sign a wide receiver to play opposite him. What glaring holes? I don't see it. I don't see you can still go get Russell Wilson and have enough assets and capital to go boost the defense. And you get Russell Wilson, you do that, you boost the defense in the draft, maybe a few pieces here in free agency, and you will have money. Eagles will have money. We are instantly a contender next year.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it attractive. You have the offense, you have the O-line where you can tell Russ we can keep you upright, got the running game to off balance it, and you got the free agent capital to go out and get the players that you need. So I mean, I think it's definitely. I think from that standpoint, I think Philly as a destination is attractive either way, for whatever QB that they may be interested in drafting for, whether it's Deshaun, whether it's Russ, whether it's Aaron Rodgers. I definitely think it's there. Now, what we will put into that capital, that's hard. I mean, that's what we need to see. But I mean, definitely, it's a dream that you could. It's tangible. I'll put it like that. It's a dream that's definitely tangible.
And I will say this, because I was talking to one of my friends, or one of my my old dancer friends from up in North Jersey, and his friend was a backup dancer for Sierra, went on tour with her, and guys, if you didn't know, yes, I used to dance, so that's why I mentioned
pole and all.
Pole and all. But yeah, he went on tour with Sierra, and Sierra always talk about how she wants to live in New York. She wants to be in New York. So my friend was saying, he believes the Giants are going to be the team that gets Russell because Sierra wants to go to New York. My rebuttal to that was that Sierra can still go to New York if Russell's in Philly. It's only a 2-hour drive. It's not that far. You can still have both. And the Eagles have more draft capital assets to give to Seattle, offer to Seattle, than the Giants do. So,
and then the offensive line ain't there, man. They couldn't even get an offensive line for Daniel Jones. It's just, I don't know. It's it depends on what Russ wants. And I mean, and Howie and Jeff can always go to those negotiations with Russ and say, listen, we wanted you from the start. We didn't want Nick Foles, but Seattle jumped us, and now we had this opportunity to cash in and get you. And if they do end up pulling that trade off, that's probably exactly what you would hear the press release say.
Yeah,
we've always had our eye on Russell Wilson. It's clear that we were interested in him in the 2012 draft.
And now we had narrative.
Yeah, and now we had an opportunity to go out and get him, and now he's here. He's an Eagle.
Which, that is going to be the lead narrative if it happens.
Yeah.
And we're getting ahead of ourselves. I wanted this to be for the offseason, but Middlebrook did ask it, so I wanted to answer it. But man, like I know there are people. I understand the back, like the hesitancy for people not wanting Wilson. Plus, he's only under contract for 2 more years. So the other question is, like, is he going to sign an extension? So if he refuses to sign an extension, that does factor in. So I get it, but I'm under the pretense that trading for him is actually possible. He's going to waive his no-trade clause and would sign an extension. I would absolutely do it. You can't get caught up in like, oh, the team isn't ready for a talent like that. In the NFL, the last place team can go to a first place team in one season. Yep. We've seen it. We saw it. 2016, we were horrible. 2017, we won the damn Super Bowl. And I know that's only one time, but I'm just saying that's one scenario out of so many where teams have turned it around quickly. If Russell Wilson is available, I don't care how he looks and playing right now as of late. They're a mess out in Seattle. I'm not, and he's hurt. He's still hurt. That finger ain't healed. Finger ain't healed. Nope. He's hurt.
You could tell. I mean, when you're a baseball player and you got an arm like that, and he's been one of the most accurate deep passers in the history of the league, and now he can't hit the broadside of a barn. So I mean, it's just not right. It's just not. I can actually see if they lose again, I can see them shutting them down for the year.
Yeah, that maybe.
I can see them shutting it down.
PJ Ray brings up. I would rather go through the draft and take a swing on an aging star that's on the back half of his career.
33.
He's 33. He's talked about how he wants to play well into his 40s. Look at Aaron Rodgers, how old he is, because he says PJ Ray also says he'd rather go A-Rod because it's very likely Devontae Adams comes with him. But look how old A-Rod is, and he's still playing.
37.
Russell Wilson can play up until his late 30s, and remember the hesitancy people had when it came to Peyton Manning. Remember the question marks, the concerns. Heck, the Colts let him go. They let him go because they weren't sure about his neck, and he was already too old. How did that work out for the Broncos? He was only there for how many seasons? A few seasons, right?
Yep.
But they went to 2 Super Bowls and won one. So I'm getting Russell Wilson any day. And now, like, of course, price is a factor. And, I wouldn't give up all 3 of our first round picks this year for Russell Wilson. I think that's too much, but I think I would, if it only cost 1 of our first round picks this year and then some other picks in the future, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm absolutely doing that.
So real quick before we get out of here, Don's question, I want to hit on this real quick because this is something that we've been echoing for the year.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Oh, so Stafford's not healthy at all. He's not 100%. I think there is some truth to that statement, but I will say this. I put the blame for me, if I'm Les Snead and I'm the owner of the Saints, I'm looking at Sean McVay. We've been on this train. Big games, whether it's regular season, postseason, Super Bowls, he just don't show up in his system. And for him, he's not as creative, in my opinion, as the person that he learned his shit from, which is Kyle Shanahan. People forget, like, he was underneath Shanahan when he was in Washington. And then obviously Shanahan did his thing. Then McVay became the boy wonder. Shanahan, literally, I swear I watched it when they played the Rams on Monday night. That bitch ran 6 different plays that I didn't know where the fucking ball was going out of the same formation, 6 plays in a row. McVay can't do that. He can't do that. And he doesn't have the talent at the quarterback position like Shanahan has, where obviously Shanahan would kill to have Stafford over Jimmy G. But right now, it's a microcosm of a lot of things. It's Sean McVay, who I put ultimate more blame on than Stafford, because I think Stafford's just not healthy. And they gave up everything. They have no draft capital right now, big contracts. And if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, it was all for naught.
Yeah, we said this weeks ago after the OBJ trade. There's no team that has shown to be more all in this year than the Los Angeles Rams. So if they don't win, that's an epic failure to them. And they've taken this approach of we're going to build for big names. We're going to trade we're going to trade for big names. We don't care about draft picks. We're all in right now.
So real quick, two people got PJ Ray 14 and Beat Blade. I know you just responded to Beat Blade. But PJ Ray says, facts, wait, the QB situation will fill itself. Cough, cough, Caleb Wills. Caleb Wills is a fucking freshman. This fan base is not going to wait for Jalen Hurts for 2 years. They're not going to do it, bro.
You can't
I hear you.
Far ahead.
You can't. You
can't
do that. And you don't have, this is the thing, as much as you want to say that, as much as that looks good, you don't have a team that's ran by the people who make the decisions that are going to be that patient. They're not going to do it. So this conversation is not going to happen. It's not gonna, if you were Beat Blade running the team, maybe, but you're not. It's Howie Roseman and it's Jeffrey Lurie. They're not going to wait.
They want to win.
They're not going to do that. No, and not Pete, at all. They want it. They want it now.
And Pete made a great point. These guys, they drafted Hurts because of them missing out on Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson is available, you don't think they're going to want to get him. So, and I responded to Beat Blade, but I'll mention it here because he says we got way more important things to do with these picks than a quarterback. Bro, if your team doesn't have a franchise quarterback, you got nothing.
Yep.
And you can still get Russell Wilson and build the team. You will have it's not like you're giving up all your draft picks
to
get Russell Wilson. I already just said I'm not giving up all 3 of my first round picks to get him. That's too much.
Two of them, and I'm keeping the highest one. Yeah. If I gotta give up my 2 low round first round picks this year and a 2 this year and maybe a 2 next year, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I would consider two of the first round picks. I would absolutely consider that.
Yeah.
So I think we could get it done with one of our first round picks and then a first round pick in 2023 and then maybe a second round pick and then a player, maybe like Andre Dillard. They need to build their own line. So I think that could maybe get it done. So you need to get a franchise quarterback. You just need to. You need to. So
is that a pick?
I don't know. It wasn't. Let's see. Was that Lewis trying to get it? That is a pick.
Oh my God, that's a pick.
Oh wait. Did he lose control there though? No, he didn't. Hit it ground. It looks like a clean pick to me. Let's see. This angle that was deflected.
I don't think it's enough. It was called a pick on the field, right?
I think so. I think that stands. He gets control really there, plays down. Ball doesn't move. That's a pick.
Trayvon's in the whoever. I think Diggs is in the way. You can't really see. His hand is off the ball. When he's bringing it in, you can see space between his hand and the ball. Right here.
Yeah, but then he already grabbed it. Remember the whole thing with Corey Clement and his touchdown?
I got you.
If you grab it, but then you're just switching hands, they still classify that as
that's a pick. Control. He never. Yeah, that's control. So, I don't see enough to turn that over.
Yeah. So, PJ Ray says, "Let's see Hurts with 2 good wide receivers." If you can't get Russell Wilson, then I'm going with Hurts. But if you can get Russell Wilson, I'm going with Russell Wilson. I'm sorry.
And he said a comment earlier. If it's a he or a female, I'm not sure. He said a comment earlier that one bad game and we're jumping ship with Jalen Hurts. That's not it at all. We're not saying that. And I don't think Jalen Hurts' tape this game was that bad. But what I'm telling you is you got to know who's running the team and what they expect. The Eagles want a top 10 QB every year. And whatever they need to do to get that, that's what they want to do. That's nothing new. That they've always preached that. Hell, they called us up a QB factory trying to get that shit. And if they're seeing what they're seeing from this kid ain't it, and they have an opportunity to, and their mind is to improve on it, they're going to try to improve on it. I mean, that's as simple as it is. That's fact.
And it's not just one game, too. Like he's had several bad games this season, and we've criticized him for it. He's had some good games, and we've praised him for it. If you don't believe me, go to my YouTube channel. You'll see it. I've given him credit where it's due. And again, I've been consistent with this since before the season. I've said if Hurts shows progress, I'm willing to give him another year. Okay, he has to show me signs. And against the Broncos, he started to show those signs. I need to see a little bit more of it, but he's trending in the direction where I'm okay with giving him another season. But the one stipulation, the one exception to that, for me at least, was always Russell Wilson. Yeah. Russell Wilson, if he was available, I'm always like, I need to get Russell Wilson. I want Russell Wilson. So I'm being consistent. I'm not overreacting to one game. I am being consistent. If you don't believe me, go back on other shows and you can listen to me say the same stuff over and over. I've been consistent all year. So anything else you want to touch on, non-football related? Any MCU stuff and movie stuff?
No, well,
did you get your tickets to Spider-Man yet? You did.
Crazy. I got my ticket. I'm going. So yes, I will. I am going. I had to end up going local. I'm going on Thursday, December the 16th, 2 weeks from today, at 7:30. So we probably would need to move some things around.
That's fine. Hey, the premiere of Spider-Man: No Way Home takes priority in this case. So don't worry. Yeah. We'll figure it out. If I have to go solo that night and pray and wish I was there with you, then I'll do that. But
real quick before we speaking of MCU, one sentence to sum up Hawkeye so far. Okay. It's less than a sentence.
I don't hate it.
Right.
I don't hate it. I've watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like,
so you don't watch you haven't watched the third one yet.
Not yet. No, we haven't had a chance.
Okay.
I haven't watched the third, but like first 2 episodes, nothing's happened.
Well, wait till you watch this one. That's no spoiler, but it's some action.
Yeah.
The whole episode is pretty much all action.
And let me say this. So I know everyone is hyped. Like I'm hyped too for Spider-Man Far From Home. 2 things. Or No Way Home. Sorry, Far From Home was the second one. 2 things. Mm-hmm. We just watched that second Venom movie, Let There Be Carnage.
Ooh.
Such a bad movie. It's so horrible. But the best part of it was the post-credit scene where they show that, and I'm going to say this because it's way, way past spoiler alert territory, obviously. The post-credit scene where they show that Venom and Eddie were brought into the MCU world and Spidey's world. Spidey's universe. So I'm assuming that means that Venom is going to be in No Way Home. That's what I'm assuming. So that's going to be crazy. But outside of the Spidey thing, everyone's hyped about it. I am too. The thing is, we can't, like with the baby, like we can't go on that long and see a movie with without him. So I'm unfortunately gonna have to wait to see No Way Home. But I'm probably one of only 5-10 people in the world as excited as I am for Spider-Man, which is at like a 9 out of 10. I am a little bit more excited for the new Matrix movie. Because I'm a huge Matrix fan. I'm a huge fan of that trilogy. Yeah. So, like, ever since that first trailer came out, I've been, like, chomping at the bit. And I'm happy because they're putting it out on HBO Max. So I'll be able to watch it at home. So I am so excited for that new Matrix movie. It could disappoint, but my point is my hype for it is that if my hype for Spider-Man is like a 9 out of 10, my hype for Matrix is like a 9.5. Oh God. Devin says, I've heard someone say this too. Matrix movie is a total cash grab. I'm skeptical. It's absolutely a cash grab. And they can take all my money. I don't care. Like, it's 100% a cash grab. But what makes me a little bit hopeful, at least, is that one Wachowski sibling is directing it. They wrote it. So there's still continuity in that sense. It's not a totally different writer. So I'm hopeful in that sense. I love that trilogy so much that you really can't blame me for being hyped about the new Matrix movie. Again, there's a good chance it'll be a bust. There's a good chance, very possible, it's not that good. But I'm still going to be so excited for it.
So Don says he's waiting for the Suicide Squad video game. That before we get out of here, I wanted to bring this up. My boy told me earlier today, the new Forza 5 game, when you're creating a character, creating a driver, the pronouns, there's no more Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. It's he, she, they, them, there. This is my problem. I understand in this world of gender neutrality, all well and good. Then give them fucking everything. Don't take away Mr., Mrs., Miss, or that. Don't take that away. Just add. When you take away what tradition has been for thousands of years, and then you ask them, you try, like, I'm not cool with that. We can't erase history. You know what I mean? You can't erase tradition. Some people still believe in that. You feel what I'm saying? I don't understand why the overcorrection. I just don't get it. That's just me, and I see that a lot. That's all I'm saying, and I'm done on that note. Because I think this is the only place I feel comfortable on this platform talking about stuff like that. Because obviously I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers, but it's just the truth. You know what I mean? Like because things were Mr., Mrs., he, and she for so long, and now we try to correct it, doesn't mean that way was totally wrong or everybody needs to conform. No, we're not trying to rewrite. We're just trying to add. Let's do addition. We can't. When you try to do addition by subtraction with this, I don't think that's the right way to go about it.
And to your point, it's not like it's the old like Mr. and Mrs. It's not like it's a derogatory. Because for corrections for language before, we try to take them out because they're derogatory.
Right.
And they're offensive.
Yeah.
But I don't think calling someone Mr. and Mrs. like you can call someone Mr. and Mrs. and not be offended. You know what I mean? But you can't, with words that we've tried to take it out of our language, you can't call it to anyone because it'll still be offensive. So
that's offensive.
What, for the game?
They threw a flag. I don't know if that's on Cooper. Cooper, he literally he does what he did with this Toronto Derby all them years.
Oh,
offensive. God. They did call it offensive. Good. I think they did.
Well, I don't know.
They call it a DPI. Jesus Christ.
Oh, they got to hold them to a field goal at least. Oh, boy. They're marching. All right. Well, great show. We talked about a lot. We talked about a lot. Good conversations. Everyone, the fam who chimed in, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate you hanging with us. Good to be back on the show, back live, and we will be back next week, of course. Thank you to our sponsors, all of them who represent us from Fan Up and the whole nine. Thank you. We hope next week we'll be talking about an Eagles win against the Giants.
Into the bye week.
Please.
Bye week.
Going into the bye week, we'll have a lot to talk about still. So let's hope and pray, guys. Let's hope and pray the Eagles bounce back. Let's hope everyone has a great game. For myself, for Pete to my left, for everyone else at A2D, we love you. We thank you. Stay safe. God bless. And go Birds. Peace out, guys.